Ready-made maths YouTube mathematics training videos. Teaching assistant and teacher training in mental mathematics. Today is day 7 of the mental mathematics training, and we're looking at MC RAPA CODA NUMBO part 2. I hope that you all enjoyed yesterday's introduction to RAPA CODA NUMBO, or MC RAPA CODA NUMBO. What we're looking at today is how that develops and moves into key stage 2, starting with 2-digit numbers and building up to 4-digit numbers and possibly decimals as well. Just a recap of this week's program. We're going to move on in day 3 into mental addition tips and tricks, day 4 into learning number bonds, and day 5 into some dice and digit card games.
Good morning and welcome to part 2 of MC RAPA CODA NUMBO. I thought I wasn't going to originally put the stuff on, but I thought I might as well introduce myself as we did yesterday. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing something similar to yesterday, but we're going to be going more into key stage 2, probably starting off around about year 3 and building up all the way to year 6. It's just a continuation of what we looked at yesterday. We're going to look at general ideas. We're going to look at a couple of songs. We're going to look at some digit card games. We're going to look at some reasoning card games. We're going to look at target boards, and we're going to develop that idea of manipulate the calculation, MC, round and adjust, ra, partition, pa, count on, co, double and adjust, da, and number bond, numbo. MC RAPA CODA NUMBO. So again, I hope you enjoyed yesterday's videos, and I hope today you'll see how the whole thing gradually progresses. As I say, you probably won't see too much face-to-camera stuff today because we're going to present a lot of the things on PowerPoint, and we're going to also look at a lot of activities on the table as well. But hopefully you'll get a lot out of this and you'll be able to see how the 2 days link together.
You can see here the strategies for MC RAPA CODA NUMBO. You met MC himself yesterday. And what you're going to hear today is the MC RAPA CODA NUMBO song. The song itself has been written by Dave Godfrey. It's one of the Number Fun Portal songs. And what it does is it takes individual numbers, this is an example with 28, and adds 5 different numbers using the 5 cool strategies for mental addition. There's also a teacher's ideas pack, as there are with many of the songs, that you can download if you subscribe to the Number Fun portal. And now we're going to listen to RAPA CODA NUMBO, the anthem. This was before RAPA CODA NUMBO became an MC, when there were the 5 strategies that were originally available. And you'll see the character RAPA CODA NUMBO apply each of these strategies to the same number, so you can see how each of them work. You'll also notice in the chorus how each of the 5 strategies visualize with base 10. It might be worth having base 10 in front of the children and pausing after each little bit of the chorus and letting children practice those as well. Just see what you make of this.
RAPA CODA NUMBO, RAPA CODA NUMBO, RAPA, round and adjust, partition it, CODA, counting on to double and adjust, NUMBO, number bonds, RA, round and adjust, 28 at 9, PA, partitioning, 28 at 16, CO, counting on, 28 at 5, DA, double and adjust, 28 at 25, NUMBO, number bonds, 28 at 22, RAPA CODA NUMBO.
And you can see there how that progressed. What I particularly like about this is as each of them, going back through the little animation now, as each of them come on, you can see, first of all, round and adjust. We start with 28, you can see what happens, on comes the 10, and there goes the 1. So we end up with, add 10, take 1, 37. You can see the partition, 28 and 16, the 10s go together, and the 1s go together, so you end up with 30, and then you end up with the 8 and 6 is 14 there. The counting on, you can just see the extra 5 that come in. Double and adjust. This one looks really nice, that 25 and 25, plus the 3. And then finally, with number bonds, the 28 and the 22, you can see how the 2 make a brand new 10. You'll see 3 verses of Rapa Coda Numbo with 3 different numbers. Again, if I was using this in class, I'd be pausing right at the start and saying, right, you've got the number 28, you're going to add 9, 5, 16, 22, 25. I'd like you to try each of the 5 different strategies. Let's see what you get. And then I put the song on. As it progresses and you see the next number that comes on, we get to, just play a little bit, there we go, we get to number 45. So again, I'd be asking the children to do the calculations, 45 and 29, 45 and 27, etc., using the 5 different strategies that it names, and then we check that with the actual video. The great thing is, if you use the backing track version of this on the Number Fun portal, you can choose any numbers that you want, or you can get your children to create their own. Let them create their own version of the Rapa Coda Numbo song. There's even a Key Stage 2 version of this song, Upper Key Stage 2 version of this song, which uses obviously bigger numbers. You're going to see this one just in action with 3-digit numbers. Let's have a little listen.
Round and adjust, 412 at 297. Partitioning, 412 at 341. Counting on, 412 at 210. Double and adjust, 412 at 413. Number bonds, 412 at 188. Rapa Coda.
Now you can see, obviously, as we went through those strategies, how quickly the song goes through all 5, because it obviously has to fit in with the song. That's why it's crucial to do them first. Let the children, I would definitely use the apparatus to begin with until they get used to the strategies. Let them show, for example, the number bond there with the 412 and the 188, which makes a brand new 100. You can see there the 9 10s and the new 10. I would also then do this activity just as a kind of Rapa Coda Numbo activity mentally with jottings, and again then put the song on once the children have had the opportunity to work the answers out. As this one progresses again, we even go into a lovely little version with decimals. That one, just take it back a little bit. It starts off with 4.5 and 2.9, where you add 3 and subtract 0.1, exactly like we did with the tens frames last week, where each of the tens frames represents one whole. The partitioning, 4.5 and 2.7. You've got the counting on, we just add 0.4. We've got a double and adjust, which is really good. Double 4.5, add 0.2. And finally, we've got a number bond where we add 9.5, obviously, to make a new whole there. Really good little strategy. You can see how that develops. That could become 5 add 9, as it shows there, or it could also become 4 add 10. The third version of this one on the song, Rapa Coda Numbo. So just move that one on very quickly. We've now got a money version. Again, really, really clever. So we're now using decimals again, but in a real life context, where we're having to round and adjust with £9.80, partition with £3.24, count on £2.20, double and adjust £7.50 and £7.60, and do a number bond for £7.60 and £2.40. Really, really clever. And again, it's just a great way of allowing the children to practice that particular set of strategies.
What we're now going to do is extend the activity that we did earlier on with the digit cards. We're now moving into Key Stage 2. We'll start off with a Year 3 version, then we'll develop it. We're only going to use 2-digit numbers to begin with. I'll just move the glasses out of the way, and I'm just going to turn these cards over now and just randomly create some 2-digit numbers. 11 add 27. Now, I don't think there's any difficult strategy there. We're going to count on, or we're going to partition. 27 add 10 is 37, add 1 is 38, or 20 and 10 is 30. 7 and 1 is 8. I think that was a very straightforward one. You never know what's going to come up. 52, and we're going to add that to 82. So 52 add 82. What's our strategy now? I'm going to look at that. I'm going to go double and adjust. Double 50 is 100, and 30 is 130. 2 and 2 is 4. So I've used that double 50, double and adjust. Or some people straight away will know 8 and 5 is 13, 13 tens, 130 and 4. Try one more, and then we're going to extend the activity slightly. So again, turn over to we're going to remove the zeros for a minute. 72 and 58. What do we spot now? Number bond. The 58 with the 2 gives me 60. I'm then into double and adjust land. Double 60 is 120 and 10 is 130. Alternatively, I'll put my 8 over there and that will get me 80 add 50, or I'll just do 120 add 10. When you've got the number bond, there's always 3 options, as we discussed last week. So we're seeing as we turn the cards over, the strategy changes each time. What I've got here is 28 plus 29, and I've got here 39 plus 76. Have a look at both of those calculations separately and decide to yourself, what would your RAPA CODA NUMBO strategy be for each of those pairs of calculations. Looking at the first one, 28 plus 29, I would presume that most people are going to go down the road here of round and adjust. Am I going to make it 30 add 30 and then subtract 3? Am I going to make it 28 add 30 and subtract 1? Or am I going to make it 30 add 29 and subtract 2? Whichever way you do it, you will end up with the answer 57. But what happens if I swap round the 8 and the 2? Suddenly, 82 plus 29, the strategy is completely different. I'm now spotting a number bond. 80 and 20 is 100, and 9 and 2 is 11. Just going back to the original calculation, what if I'd swapped the other number around? What have I now got? Well, I've got a completely different number bond. I'm going to put the 92 with the 8 to make 100, and then add my 20 to make 120. And finally, what if both numbers had been turned around? Well, I've now got 82 plus 92. Well, I'm going to partition this one, but I'm going to do the 80 plus 90 using double and adjust. Double 80 is 160, add my 10 is 170, and 2 and 2 is 4. So again, really easy to do in class. Turn over any pair of 2-digit numbers, ask the children to add them together using a strategy of their choice, and then just flip around the cards and try different options. The second example we looked at was 39 add 76. With that one, lots of different options really. We can do a number bond. 70 and 30 is 100. 9 and 6, I'm just going to pass one over and make it 10 add 5, which is 15. So I can do 115 that way. Alternatively, because it's 39, I could make it 40. 76 add 40 is 116 and subtract the 1. If I now swap around that number, I've now got 93 and 76. Again, lots of different options for that one. I'm actually thinking of passing 7 over from the 76. I'll pass 6 over, which makes it 70. I'll pass another 1 over, which makes it 69. So I end up with 100 plus 69. Alternatively, 90 and 70. Well, again, if I pass 10 over from the 90 to the 70, I end up with double 80. 160 plus the 9. So another option you could do there. Imagine I'd swapped around the second number. 39 add 67. I'm definitely going to do round and adjust now. I'm going to make that 40. 67 add 40 is 107. Subtract 1 is 106. Or manipulate the calculation. Pass 1 over. Just make it 40 add 66, which again is 106. Look at the final option. 93 plus 67, probably the easiest one of the lot. Simple number bond, put your 7 with your 93, that gives me 100. Add your 60, total 160. So again, really lovely little game to play. Alternate version of RAPA CODA NUMBO. Only involves dealing 4 cards out. Very, very simple to put together. I'm just going to take that activity one stage further, and I'm going to turn over 3 numbers. I'm going to then pause the video. You're going to look at the 3 numbers, and you're going to make that decision as to which 2 numbers you're going to start off with, and how you're going to add them up. So 25, add 93, add 31. I think actually that one is just relatively straightforward as a partition. Look at the tens. Well, I've got 9 tens and 3 tens is 12 tens, and another 2 tens, 14 tens, or 140, and 5 and 3 and 1 is 9. When you get lots of ones where the ones value is 5 or less, you do often tend to get partitioning coming up as a strategy. The other strategies tend to get employed when you get the number bonds or when you get numbers that are greater than 5. Let's just try one more. Okay, we've got 88, that's a much bigger number. We're going to add 88 to 65, and we're going to have a third number of 60. In fact, I'm just going to move these around a little bit. I'm going to make that one 62. sorry, 68, I'm going to make that one 82. So we've got 82, 65 and 68. I can instantly see two strategies that would work depending on where I want to start. Have a look at those numbers. We'll just pause the video. I think the first thing that jumped out, as it often does, is number bond, where I've got the 8 and the 2. Again, 3 ways to do it. Probably the easiest way, I think, will be to pass the 2 over there, and I get 80 plus 70, which is a near double. That's double 70 plus 10, 150. I'll then add my 65 by adding 50 and 15. I've manipulated the calculation. I'm going to make that 50 and 15. So I've got 150 and 50 is 200 and 15 is 215. That's one option. The other option, I think, is this. Looking at these two here, we've got a 65 and a 68. That's a double and adjust. Double 65 is 130. Add 3 is 133. That brings me over 133. Add 82. I think I'll count on my 2 first of all. That gets me to 135, and I've just got to add on 80. Well, to do that, I'm going to add 70 and 10. So 135 and 70 is 205, and 10 is 215. So you can see I'm manipulating the calculation to make it easier whenever I need to. The final option, which I don't know if anybody spotted, is probably the most straightforward of the lot. If I look at all the 10s, 6 10s and 6 10s, 12 10s, another 8 10s, 20. 20 10s, 200. 8 and 2 is 10, and 5 is 15. That's probably the easiest way of them all. I've invited Lydia back now to have a little go with 4 two-digit numbers. We've no idea what they're going to be yet, so good luck, Lydia.
Okay, so let's see what they are. Hopefully they're all right. Okay. 82.
Okay, 82.
23.
23.
78.
78.
And 19.
19, right, interesting. I'll just pause the video for a second and let everyone have a look at those. I'm going to bring the camera around here so we can see the numbers properly. Okay, so that's better. 82, 23, 78 and 19. Have a look at those. So, young Miss RAPA CODA NUMBO, what's your strategy going to be for these numbers?
Okay, so I'm looking at them and here I can see a number bond with 82 and 78. What I'm going to do first is add the 2 to the 78 to make 80. And then that'd be double 80 is 160.
Good start. Okay, what's next?
160 plus 23 is 183.
So you just counted on there. That was nice and easy. And then?
Then I'll add on it. Then I'll add on 19. So I'll do 20. Take 1.
Okay.
So we're on 180.
183.
So 183, 193. 203, take 1 is 202.
Fantastic. Other games that are really effective are games that are played with a partner using two-digit numbers or greater. The game we're going to play now with the sense of number reasoning cards, similar to the ones on the target board, is a little game that you play with a partner where you turn 3 of the cards over. Player A decides on which numbers they're going to put together first and why, and then player B tries to put a different pair of numbers together first and explains why. So we're going to turn up, to start off by turning over the first 3 cards in the pack. So we turn over a 24, we turn over 108, and we turn over 96. Player A from this point would possibly say, right, 96, number bond, add 24 is 120. I'd then add the 108 by partitioning to get 228. Player B, for example, might start off with the 108 and pass 4 over. 108, I'm going to pass 4 over. That's 104 plus 100. That gives us 204, and then I'll add my 24. That will give us 228. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just pause the video. I'm going to deal out the next 9 cards, and we'll see if we can do the same thing with those. Okay, I've got 3 sets of cards now to look at. So I'm going to pause the video again. Have a look at the first set, 47, 29 and 27. Which 2 would you begin with and why? And what would your strategy be? Second set, 28 add 12 add 99. What would your strategy be? Which 2 numbers would you go for first? And again, similarly with the third ones, where would you start with those? Have a quick look at those and we'll come back to them in a second. Looking at the 3 sets of calculations that I've just created there, The first one, 47 add 29. We're going to use the strategy, round and adjust. We'll add 30, which gets us to 77, and subtract 1, 76. 76 and 27, we're going to partition. 70 and 20 is 90, 7 and 6 is 13, and that will give us 103. Moving down to the second set, a very straightforward number bond, 28 and 12 is 40. I'm then going to pass one of my 40 over to the 99, and that gets me 100 plus 39. The third set, the number bond just jumps out. You've got 50 and 50 is 100, 4 and 6 is 10. 110, add the 18 over here, takes us to 128. Let's look at those calculations again and see if there's an alternative strategy we could have done. Looking at the first set of numbers, 27 and 29. I'm going to do double 25 and adjust. 25 and 25 is 50. I'm then going to adjust that by 2 and adjust that by 4. So that will be giving me 56. 56 add 47. 56 add 47. What I'm going to do is I'm going to manipulate the calculation. I'm going to pass 3 over and make it 53. Add 50 equals 103. The second set of numbers, 99 plus 28 plus 12. With that one, I'm going to pass 1 over, manipulate the calculation. It's going to be 100, add 27. I can finally add my 12 over here, which takes me to 139. The third set, I'm going to round and adjust. 56 add 20 is 76. Adjust by 2, 74. 74 and 54. 70 and 50 is a near double. That's 100. And 20 and 4 and 4 is 8. Again, you may well have jotted those down yourself rather than just work them all out in your head, but each of those can be manipulated and moved around in lots of different ways. Excellent game is to create a grid of numbers of whatever size you like. I've gone for a 4x3 array, but you could have more or less. Probably that's quite a good number is 12. I've also created my own dice. This is my MC RAPA CODA NUMBO dice. I'm going to roll the dice, and the dice will tell me what strategy I need to use. So I've rolled double and adjust. Which numbers am I going to use for double and adjust? Well, I think straight away I can see a 45. With that 45, I can see a 47. So I'm going to use those. Double 45 is 90, and 2 is 92. I scored a point, and I move those two from the grid. My opponent rolls the dice and gets a numbo. Can we spot a number bond? And my opponents might well go for the 67 with the 33. And that actually does give a number bond to 100. So that'll be a point for them. I would roll the dice again. Again, I've got double and adjust again. Now, sometimes it's not as easy to see a near double, but we can get quite close. There's an 81 there. There's an 84 there. Double 80 is 160 and 4 and 1, or double 81 it would work. 162 add 2 is 164. My opponent rolls again, and this time gets a partition. Which numbers am I going to partition? Well, I'm going to choose the 48 and the 36. 40 and 30 is 70. 8 and 6 is 14. 70 and 14 is 84. Now, there's only 4 numbers left on the grid. It may not work now. The strategy might not work. We'll just have a see. Round and adjust. That's actually going to work really well. For round and adjust, I'm going to round the 108. I'm going to go 70. Add 110 is 180. Subtract 2 is 178. I know there's a much easier way to do that one, but that was the strategy that I was being told to use. And finally, let's have a see what strategy. Round and adjust with 56 add 6. Well, I'm going to do 56 add 10 is 66, subtract 4 is 62. Now, obviously, with that particular game, sometimes the strategies aren't particularly appropriate, but it encourages the children, can I make that strategy work? Sometimes it won't be possible. A different way to play the same game is to actually keep building up the grid as we're playing. So as we remove some numbers, we'll put new ones in place. In this instance, I could roll an for a round and adjust. I'm going to do a round and adjust with the 28. So let me put the 28 with the, let's say, 72. Oh, no, that's not an ideal one, because that's actually a number bond. If I put the 28 with the 36. 36 and 30 is 66, subtract 2 is 64. But what I'm now going to do is replace the 2 missing cards with a 36 again, and with a 16. So when my opponent comes to roll the dice, We've now got another round and adjust, and for this one I might choose to use the 89. 89 add 20, I'll make it 90 add 20 is 110, subtract 1 is 109. As those two cards are removed, they're replaced again with a 32 and a 28. And so we carry on, we roll the dice again. We get manipulate the calculation. So what I'm going to do for this one, very simply, is I'm going to take the 48 and the 36, and I'm going to manipulate it by passing 2 over. That will make me 50 add 34 is 84. This keeps going. We'll just put the final 2 cards over. Got a 99, and we've got a 30. So we've now got, the grid is completely changed from where we started off. And now we can continue playing the game with these numbers. That can keep you going for 15-20 minutes, and it does challenge the children. Can I find the numbers that will fit the strategy, rather than just being given this is the strategy you have to use. This time they're going to pick the appropriate numbers for it.
The final new resource that I'd like to share with you is probably not a new resource whatsoever. It actually came out probably around about 2005. This was one of the National Numeracy Strategy Excel resources. It's in hundreds of them, really good resources that didn't really get much use at the time, probably because a lot of people didn't know they were there. They were put on a website. This was one of them, number boards. Really, really nice resource. What this allows you to do, a little bit like I've done with my own number board in the classroom, is create sets of numbers really, really quickly that you can let children use for differentiation. You can see the 4 examples here: numbers to 100, numbers to 1,000, multiples of 10, which is a slightly easier version of the numbers to 1,000, and also money to £10. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all of these. You can practice all the different strategies. I'll just show you the resource itself. It's not the most exciting looking resource, but it is really, really useful. I've got a menu screen that I can choose from. If I want to give children relatively easy numbers in Key Stage 1, just click on 0 to 30 or 0 to 50. That one generally works quite well, where we can pick out certain strategies and practice certain skills. My default one tends to be this one. If you don't like the numbers, you want some different ones, just click on New Selection, and it might give you ones that are a little bit more preferable. From this point, I could say, choose a strategy. Let's find some number bonds. Well, there's a 47 and a 63. That's got 2 number bonds in it, in the 10s and the 1s. We can look at 56 and 44, which is actually a number bond to 100. We can look at 58 and 12. There's lots of number bonds there. I could ask the children to look for numbers that would easily partition. 61 and 38, no carrying. 13 and 46, again, just really, really straightforward partitions. Right, now partition some numbers that are a little bit more tricky, where you've got to go over a 10. So 47 and 56, for example. Can we spot any double and adjusts? Well, what about 47 and 46? That's a really good double and adjust. Double 45 add 3. That would work really well. Can you find me a number that's very easy to count on? 20 or 12. I can pretty much add that to any of the numbers by counting on. And obviously, you can build and manipulate the calculation as well. If I want to go back to the menu, I also use that one an awful lot. And it's just so nice that you can just basically adapt it, choose your own numbers, and just ask the children, either can you find a pair of numbers for each strategy, or practice any specific strategy. What you can also do is you use the numbers. If I was to just use this one, for example, 491, if I go to the top there and click, it's a very bad colour, yellow, I'll just click on black, that shows that I've used that one, and I've used that one. So you can recolour them as well, and then you can let the children see which numbers have already been used. Just going back to the menu, the other one, you can see all the different options. I do particularly like the money ones. That are really nice to use because they're bringing decimals but in a real life context. And again, same idea. And straight away, see £5 and 9 and £5 and 1 is a £10 and 10. I can see, I'm looking for a round and adjust that's on here. I can't really see. Oh, they are £2.97. Add £3, take off 3 pence. And that would work with any of them. There's loads of number bonds. There's £5. That's a brilliant one. £5.58 and £5.42. You've got £10 and an extra pound with the 58p and the 42p. Change the numbers, and again, everything changes. £5 and 4 now goes with 66 pence to make £5.70, and so on. An easy partition: £6.11 and £1.11, £7 and 22. Again, loads and loads of options. Really, really nice resource, completely free. I will put this into the Dropbox folder so that you can access this one very easily.
And that's it for today. MC RAPA CODA NUMBO Part 2. I really hope you've enjoyed the session today and that you've seen how the development of single-digit numbers into two-digit numbers has moved forward. Again, I think I shall take the glasses off to end the video. What we're going to be doing tomorrow, as you'll have seen yesterday when we introduced the programme for the week, is just some tips and tricks. Probably not as long a session tomorrow. We're probably going to be looking at about 3 simple little ideas that will help anybody develop their mental arithmetic skills. So little tricks that I employ quite a lot and that children always find really helpful in developing their understanding. It's going to be quite a bit of mathematical reasoning that goes on as well, and we will be, as before, presenting things visually at the same time. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Hope you've enjoyed MC RAPA CODA NUMBO, and definitely hope that you're able to work with children and put those strategies into place. Introduce that character, have it as a cartoon character, have it up on the wall, or have someone playing the part, or have children playing the part. It's really good fun. It engages children really, really well. And if you can use it alongside something like the visual calculation policy, then obviously you'll get even more out of it. Thanks a lot, and I shall see you tomorrow for day 3.
And that's it for today. And that's the end of RAPA CODA NUMBO. We are tomorrow moving into looking at other games and activities. We're going to, in particular, look at tips and tricks for mental addition. Just 3 little tips, quite a shorter session tomorrow, but some really useful tips that you should be able to make use of in helping and supporting children. Thanks very much for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow.